Baseball this afternoon from Cool Today Park in Northport, Florida. It's the Braves and the Tigers for the first of two meetings this spring. We'll see these guys again next week, but for the time being, Tigers here in town, and the Braves happy to be at Cool Today Park with Spencer Strider on the mound facing Reese Olson. Beautiful Tuesday here in Southwest Florida alongside Darren O'Day and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick. Ben Ingram here with you. And lots of good news today, Darren. Let's start with the good news around Ronald Acuña. 3 or 4 days ago, we were talking about Ronald's knee, scratched from a lineup, sent to L.A. to have it checked on. Well, good news is they're expecting him to be ready for opening day.
Yeah, just out of precaution, the Braves sent Ronald out to see one of the best in the business, Dr. Neil Elatrage, and he checked him out, and prognosis is just some meniscus inflammation, irritation. So maybe some time off, a little rehab, and we'll see him back in the lineup soon.
Absolutely. Ramp him back up, have him ready for opening day in Philadelphia. I'll tell you a guy who looks like he's ready for opening day right now. It's the guy who'll be on the mound today, Spencer Strider. His first few outings, he's been electric. He's mixed in the curveball. See more of that today.
Yeah, really fun to watch. We'll talk more about this. It's just how Spencer has worked to make himself a better pitcher. And this new curveball has got some really outstanding characteristics, and it's going to play so well off that high four-seamer. I'm really excited to see him use it, not only for strikes, but also for swings and misses today.
Yeah, it's always a treat anytime Spencer is out there. We'll see him with his full arsenal of weapons today. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Atlanta Braves Spring Training Baseball. Mentioned that Spencer Strider will be on the mound for the Braves today. He's facing Reese Olson. This is actually a pitching matchup that we saw in the regular season last year in a series in Detroit up in June. Spencer won that ball game, and he'll take another step towards the regular season with his outing today facing the Detroit Tigers. For the Tigers, we'll take it through their lineup in our next segment. A bunch of names that maybe you haven't heard of yet. They got a few prospects in their lineup today. Meanwhile, for the Braves, some regulars in there. Ozzie, Orlando, Marcel, Travis, they're all there. That'll be good to see. Braves coming off a ball game yesterday where they dropped the affair down in Fort Myers to the Twins 4-3. So looking to get back into the win column today. Braves come in with a spring training record of 5 wins, 5 losses, and 1 tie. And the Tigers have played pretty good baseball this spring. They have 6 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. So it's the first time that we've seen the Tigers this year. Braves at home today before an off day tomorrow. And just because they're off tomorrow doesn't mean that the competitive juices won't be flowing. Everybody's excited for that golf tournament tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of become a spring training tradition started by when Will Smith joined the team. Would organize a big golf tournament every spring on the first off day, and I know a lot of guys look forward to it. It's a great time to get out there with. You spend a lot of time together at the field, but you don't really get to know somebody until you spend some time off the field with them and spend, 4, probably more like 5 hours. The rounds tend to be a little slow together and goof around.
Yeah, it'll be a good day tomorrow, and they're looking for a good day today. It's a gorgeous day, and it's great to have you with us. When Darren and I come back, I'll introduce you to the starting lineups for both teams, and right after that, we'll have the first pitch of the game, Braves and Tigers, right around the corner. You're listening to Atlanta Braves Spring Training Baseball. Cards being exchanged right now. Alongside Darren O'Day, Ben Ingram here with you from our booth here at Cool Today Park. Ready to see the Braves and the Tigers roll around this yard for 9 innings. Again, the first meeting between these two this spring. Let's introduce you to the starting nine for these two teams. It'll be the 12th game of the Grapefruit League schedule for the Braves, and for the Tigers, also their 12th. Detroit managed by A.J. Hinch. They have 6 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie this spring. They won each of their last 2 ball games, and they'll lead it off with their third baseman, Zach McKinstry. Batting second, center fielder Wenzel Perez. He's a switch hitter. Batting third, DH Kerry Carpenter. Batting cleanup, former Brave farmhand Justin Henry Malloy. He's the left fielder. Batting fifth, second baseman Colt Keith, one of their top prospects. Batting sixth for the Tigers, catcher Carson Kelly. Hitting seventh, right fielder Bly Madris. Batting eighth, first baseman Ryan Valade. Batting ninth, the shortstop Ryan Kreidler. And on the mound, it'll be Reese Olson, the young right-hander from Georgia, out of Gainesville, 24 years old, and he'll be out there for Detroit. So again, for the Tigers, McKinstry, Perez, Carpenter, Malloy, Keith, Kelly, Madris, Valade, Kreidler, and Olson on the mound. Those are the Tigers. Now for Brian Snitker's Braves. Atlanta with 5 wins, 5 losses, and 1 tie. Braves coming off a loss yesterday against the Twins down in Fort Myers. And the Braves will lead it off today with their left fielder, Forrest Wall, who's having a great camp, swinging a good bat. Batting second, switch hitting second baseman, Ozzie Albies. Batting third, shortstop Orlando Arcia. He hit a home run yesterday. Batting cleanup, first baseman Marcell Ozuna. Batting fifth, it's the catcher Travis d'Arnaud. Batting sixth, designated hitter Eli White. Hitting seventh, third baseman David Fletcher. Batting eighth, right fielder Louis Liberato. Batting ninth, center fielder J.P. Martinez. And on the mound, Spencer Strider, the right-hander out of Knoxville, Tennessee, 25 years old. He has been great this spring, 2-0 with an ERA of 0. He has put together 5 scoreless innings and has 9 strikeouts against the 19 batters he has faced this spring. So lots of swing and miss stuff, and it'll be Strider on the mound for the Braves. So again for Atlanta, Wall, Albies, Arcia, and I beg your pardon, it was Arcia who homered 2 days ago. All the days kind of run together down here. Following Arcia, Ozuna, d'Arnaud, White, Fletcher, Liberato, Martinez, and Strider on the mound. Behind the plate calling balls and strikes, it's Jeremy Rehack. Down at first base, crew chief Matty Gonzalez. At second, Ryan Wills. At third, Jonathan Parra. And those umpires will shift around on the bases throughout the ball game. They're wearing their black tops and their gray pants. Meanwhile, the Braves will be taking the field in the Navy uniform tops, white pants, red lettering, red numerals outlined in white. Atlanta across the chest on top of the tomahawk. And the Tigers will be coming out in their Navy tops, gray pants with bright orange hats, orange lettering, orange numerals, and the Detroit D on the front left chest of their uniforms. Braves take the field. Here's the leather for Atlanta. Marcell Ozuna getting the opportunity at first base today. Ozzie Albies at second. Orlando Arcia at short. David Fletcher at third. In the outfield left to right, Forrest Wall, J.P. Martinez, and Louis Liberato. Travis d'Arnaud behind the plate. Spencer Strider on the mound. And Darren, if this outing today is anything like these last two, expecting more electric stuff from Spencer Strider.
Yeah, I think anytime he's out there on the mound, you can count on the high hundreds, or I'm sorry, the high 90s fastballs. High hundreds would be something, wouldn't it?
Something, yeah. I'd say he's ready for the regular season at that point.
Yeah, and we know the slider, and now we've added the curveball, which everybody loves to talk about. But I also think the changeup has been refined from last year. I noticed a little more lateral movement on that last start. 5 punch-outs last start, 3 by curveball, 1 by changeup, and just one from his slider, his tried-and-true slider.
If National League hitters are listening to that report, you're going to put them in a further state of depression for what they're going to see versus Spencer Strider this year, as if he could have been tougher. He gets even tougher this year.
Yeah, it's going to be tough sledding for those NL hitters. And, Ben, I hope you like curveballs today because we got about 7 innings of them with old Charlie Morton following up young Spencer Strider. We got old curveballs and young curveballs here.
I like curveballs of all ages, so we'll see them both today as it'll be Strider getting the nod, and then we'll see Charlie Morton for the first time this spring. So Spencer, 25 years old, 6 feet tall, 195 out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Last year led the league in wins with 20. Led the league in strikeouts with 281. He was 4th in the Cy Young voting. And this spring, 5 scoreless innings, 3 hits allowed, couple of walks, 9 strikeouts. He's seen the Tigers once in his career. That was in a ball game in Detroit last June. And he got the win in that ball game. And he'll be taking on Zach McKinstry, Wenzel Perez, and Kerry Carpenter here in the top of the first inning for A.J. Hinch's Tigers. Zach McKinstry, left-handed hitting third baseman, climbing in. Spencer Strider looking into Travis d'Arnaud. He's ready. And now for the ball game. The first pitch right down the pike. Fastball 97 and an 0-1 count. Ball game started at 1:06 Eastern and 83 degrees here in Southwest Florida. Offering on the way from Strider. High heat, swung on, miss. Good luck with that. 0-2 on McKinstry. Third baseman David Fletcher well off the line against the left-handed hitting McKinstry. Spencer eyeing the strikeout. Here's his 0-2. High and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Goodness, that fastball looks like it's just shooting straight up. It looks like, when a bird catches an updraft off a cliff.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like his heater's doing already.
That was 98. 1-2 to McKinstry. Check swing, he's toast. d'Arnaud dropped it for a moment, flips it down to first base to secure the strikeout, and McKinstry goes down swinging.
There's their first curveball of the game. First punch out for Spencer. He tunneled that curveball right off his high fastball. Man, it's just such a hard decision to make, and the result was just a feeble swing from McKinstry.
It's fun watching opposing batters show you swings like that against Spencer Strider. Here's Wenzel Perez. He'll foul one straight back. Got a heater and got a piece of it, but just enough to send it back to the screen. 0-1. There's our first chair horn player back behind us, Jonathan, fighting the sinuses. No balls and a strike on Perez. Offering on the way from Spencer. Swung on, missed.
Producer engineer Jonathan Sneezwick.
He's been a first chair trumpet player these last few days. He's not sneaking up on anybody. No balls and 2 strikes. Pitch on the way from Strider. Fouled off onto the rooftop down the third base line. 99 with a fastball. Wenzel Perez, 24 years old from the Dominican, played an A-ball, AA, and AAA last year for the Tigers. Yet to reach the big leagues. 0-2 pitch on the way to Perez, and he'll send one foul on the first base line, right in front of the first base coach, Anthony Iapoce.
Yeah, that reminds me of a buddy in high school. He had asthma. We used to tease him about how bad he was at hide and go seek.
You could hear him wheezing.
You could always hear him hiding behind something.
Perez needs a new bat. He might want to go play hide and seek and not even go back up there versus Spencer.
Right.
He's down 0-2.
Yeah, he looks sharp early. Spencer benefits from how good his heater is. It's going to make his other pitches good by default just because they're something different. But his curveball is actually, I looked at some of the numbers on it, it's an above average curveball no matter how hard you throw. So you pair that with the plus fastball. It's a tough challenge to make the decision on those two.
Well, at 0-2. Let's see where he wants to go here. Pitch on the way, fouled back. Went to his fastball, 99. See, that's what's amazing to me. If you just want to mix in a curveball to deepen your arsenal, and it's average at best, that would still be effective. But here he comes with an above-average curveball that he's never thrown before. 0-2 to Perez. Outside and off the plate, 1-2.
Yeah, I saw a quote from Rick Kranitz, the Braves pitching coach, saying he's not really learning a curveball. It's like he's kind of restarting throwing it because he used to throw it before Tommy John surgery.
1-2 from Strider. There's low and outside. Yeah, kind of sideline it, refine everything else, and now that everything else is very sharp, he can go back and work on it some.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense. No score in the top of the first inning. 2-2 to Perez. Lifted in the air towards left field, sprinting to his right force wall, now slowing, crossing the foul line, leaps up against the wall and brings it back. Nice play by Forrest Wall. He's doing it all here in Northport. He's had a great spring with his bat and adds a highlight reel defensive play to what he's put together here in Northport. That's a page out of Michael Harris's book, Spider-Man up against the wall.
That was a great play. Great awareness, knowing where the wall is and making that play, especially in a stadium you don't play in every day. Playing in all these different parks around the state of Florida.
Kerry Carpenter, the batter. First pitch curveball high and away.
You know what's impressed me the most about Strider's curveball is how he can land it for strikes. And I've talked about this a couple times. But last year when he get behind in the count to lefties, he wouldn't throw his changeup. So he turns into a 2-pitch pitcher.
1-0 is low. And you can use that early in the count to get ahead, can't you?
Right. And so even if he's behind in the count, say he's down 2-1 to a lefty, he can flip a curveball in there for a free strike. And now the hitter has to think about 3 pitches instead of just usually fastball and sometimes slider.
2-0 pitch fouled back. If you're a left-handed hitter and you got a 2-1 count versus Spencer, I'm guessing the very last pitch you expect to see on 2-1 is a curveball.
Right.
Got a 2-1 count here. Spencer looking at his target, Travis d'Arnaud. 2-1 pitch. Went heater in. Missed to make it a 3-1 count. No score, top of the first inning. Strider hoping for a 1-2-3 frame. Should Carpenter reach, then Justin Henry Malloy would check in. Wind up in the 3-1. Fouled back over our heads. So he's pushed the count full, went back to the fastball there.
This would be interesting. It'd be a good time to land that backdoor curveball. You know, Kerry Carpenter standing in the left-hander's batter's box, so Spencer's got a lot of good choices on what he could do here. But this would be a situation in a regular season, maybe the second time through the order, where he flips a curveball and lands it for a strike.
Yeah, he's got a fistful of face cards. Let's see which one he throws down. Here's the 3-2 pitch. There's a fly ball to deep left field. That's going to head back towards the warning track. And throwing up the glove right at the wall, Forrest Wall makes the catch. That was a fastball that Carpenter got around on, but couldn't quite get it out of here. And down they go, 1-2-3. We played a half an inning, Tigers nothing, and the Braves coming up when we come back. Bottom of the first inning, no score. Braves and the Tigers from Northport. It'll be Forrest Wall, Ozzie Albies, and Orlando Arcia versus Reese Olson. The Detroit Leather has Ryan Belade at first base, Colt Keith at second, Ryan Kreidler at short, Zach McKinstry at third, Justin Henry Malloy is in left field, Winsel Perez in center field, Bly Madris in right field, Carson Kelly the catcher, Reese Olson, the right-hander out of Gainesville, Georgia, on the mound. First pitch to Forrest Wall, bunted up the third base line. It goes foul. Otherwise, that's a hit all day. Pretty good idea by Forrest. Wall with a terrific catch for the second out in the top of the first inning. This spring, 3 home runs for Forrest Wall. 2 of them in one game. He's batting .462. So he has been an attention getter this spring. Leading it off is the righty Olson. That'll be tapped foul. Reese Olson, 6'1". They list him at 160. I'd imagine he might be a little heavier than that now. 24 years old. Deep bag of tricks and a pretty good slider. 0-2 on Forrest Wall. Righty deals. Wall takes one up and in.
Yeah, that 0-1 pitch to Forrest was a changeup, and as soon as he threw it, I went, wow. I mean, that thing had some pretty sharp movement. He's known for his secondary pitches. Might have a little bit below average command of his heater, but great secondary stuff.
1-2, a swing and a miss. That time the changeup gets wall. One down here in the first inning. Yeah, looking at the arsenal for Reese Olson, yes, he's got a four-seamer, but compared to some of his other pitches, it's not as good, and he doesn't throw it as often as some of those secondary pitches. So really not necessarily secondary pitches for him.
Yeah, he came over in a trade from Milwaukee in July 2021.
Ozzie Albies takes the ball outside.
For former big prospect himself, Daniel Norris, but I think what the Tigers liked about him was that plus secondary stuff, and we just saw that nasty changeup, which he'll use a lot to lefties.
1-0 pitch, low and in.
Righties, he tends to be more of a sinker slider, more traditional that way. Lefties are going to see the curveball, the changeup, and the four-seamer more.
Ozzie going to zero in on that game plan right here. 2-0 pitch, whacked down the right field line, foul. Sinking fastball that didn't have the kind of sink that Olson wanted on it. No score, bottom of the first inning. 1 out, bases empty. Reese Olson made 21 appearances in the big leagues last year, 18 as a starter. Made 1 start against the Braves. 2-1 pitch over the inside corner, handcuffing Ozzie.
And that follows kind of current day pitching doctrine is, same-handed batters get the sinker and the slider, the stuff that moves more horizontally. Opposite-handed gets the stuff that moves more vertically.
2-2 got him looking. Came in under the hands with a pretty loopy curveball, looked like, Darren.
Yeah, Olson's been scuffling a little bit this spring. You come in a record of 0-2 and a 9.82 ERA in just 2 games, but got some pretty promising stuff. He's one of the guys Detroit's going to count on. Detroit being a young squad that's kind of trying to find their way in the AL Central.
Orlando Arcia, check swing. The appeal didn't go, says Matty Gonzalez down at first. Talking about Reese Olson, that 1 start he had in his career versus the Braves coming last year. That was also against Spencer Strider that day. In a ball game the Braves had to come back to win. 1-0 pitch popped up. Foul ground, shading his eyes from the sun, Carson Kelly. Back to the screen, and he has room on the warning track. So that just stayed in the field of play, and the Braves go down to 1-2-3. We played 1 inning. We head to the top of the second. No score here at Cool Today Park. Alongside Darren O'Day and our producer-engineer Jonathan Sneeswick, Ben Ingram here with you at Cool Today Park. That's going to stick the rest of the day, by the way.
That poor guy struggling. I walked out today, my whole car was yellow with pollen, so I can feel his pain.
He's been pounding that Zyrtec. Here is Justin Henry Malloy, right-handed hitter. He swings at the first pitch and fouls 1 back. At one point, this guy was a Brave, 24 years old. He's from Montville, New Jersey, went to Georgia Tech, and he was drafted by the Braves in 2021, but he was traded to Detroit in the deal that brought Joe Jimenez from Detroit to Atlanta. A 1-2, Justin Henry Malloy, high and outside. Well, that has turned into a good deal for the Braves, having Joe Jimenez, part of a great bullpen that we have high expectations for this season. 1-1 to Malloy, and a ground ball out to third. Taken on 2 twin hops into the glove of David Fletcher. Throw a cross over there to Marcell Ozuna in time. One down here in the top of the second inning.
Second baseman number 33, Keith.
Speaking of bullpens, we saw a transaction from the Braves today. Daysbel Hernandez has been optioned down to minor league camp.
Right.
A bit surprising. Thought he was probably be in the running for the back end of the bullpen. So maybe that bullpen roster is filling out for the Braves, in their minds. They've kind of got an idea where they'd like to go with it.
Colt Keith, the batter, one of their top prospects, takes one high and outside. Well, and I think it'll be like we were discussing yesterday. Maybe he's not there on the opening day roster, but we'll see him at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
Good option to have. No score, top of the second. 1-0 to Colt Keith. That'll miss low and outside.
We talked a few days ago about all the options the Braves are going to have, even mid-season guys coming back from injury. Ian Anderson comes to mind, but one guy we haven't mentioned is Huascar Ynoa.
Good point.
Guy that was great for the Braves a couple years ago.
2-0 pitch fouled back.
Not just on the mound, but in the batter's box.
There was a stretch there where he was the best pitcher the Braves had going that season, and then he hit a grand slam.
Shohei Ynoa.
2-1 on Colt Keith. 22 years old, out of Biloxi, Mississippi. 2-1 misses high, 3-1. This guy's got some pop, Colt Keith. 27 home runs last year between AA and AAA. Their number 2 prospect. 3-1 to Keith. High and outside. So it's a 1-out walk. First base runner of the ball game for the Tigers.
Number 15,
That brings Carson Kelly up to the plate. Spencer Strider, 4th round choice of the Braves in 2020 out of Clemson.
Did you hear that, Ben? You said Clemson, like there was a P with it.
Yeah. I've learned about that.
We talked about it the other day.
Clemson. Pitch to Carson Kelly. Just off the plate. All right, I got one for you. I asked this to J. Chad last night, and he actually just about nailed it. We're talking about Spencer Strider and all the strikeout totals. There's 1-0 pitch on the way. In for a high strike. In Strider's career, he's faced exactly 1,300 major league batters. Would you like to guess how many of those batters, whether you want to guess the exact amount or just the percentage, 0 to 100, have been strikeout victims?
This might take a couple innings. I got to do some math, Ben.
1-1 pitch. That'll hit the inside corner. Yeah, if you want to just go the easy route, just give me a percentage. That's fine, too.
Sure. 35%. 30%.
You're closer with your first guess.
35, really?
37% of all batters he has faced strikeout.
That's ridiculous. And now he's adding a new pitch.
He wanted to get it over 50. Ball and 2 strikes on Carson Kelly. Here it is. Lined out towards right center. That's down for a clean base hit. Hit in the bag at second. Come to the third, Colt Keith. And the throw goes to second base. That'll be a 1-out single by Carson Kelly. Colt Keith first to third, and the Tigers have him at the corners with a 1 down.
Yeah, that was a fastball down and away to Kelly that I think Spencer probably wanted closer to the top of the zone. When Spencer's fastball is down, that's your best chance of getting it because of that elite ride. It really resists sinking. So when the ball is down, you got a better shot of getting some lumber on it than when it's in the top half of the zone.
That's what he did right there. Here's Bly Madris. First pitch from Strider. Swinging a pop-up. Shallow center. Orlando Arcia backpedaling. Squares up to it. Makes the catch. Runners hold. That's welcomed with open arms for Spencer Strider after the base hit by Kelly getting out on 1 pitch. And 2 down here in the top of the second.
Off air the other day, you and I were talking about the value of infield pop-ups. It's something that sometimes gets overlooked. In some ways, a pop-up is just as good as a strikeout because the major league infielders are pretty dang good at catching them. Nobody advances, And as you've made a good point, it could even be more valuable because it doesn't take you 3 pitches. It could be a first pitch pop-up. Now you're saving 2 pitches.
That could be the difference in going another inning on your log rather than coming out an inning earlier. Here's Ryan Valade. No foul one back. By the way, good job by the guys down the hall with the Motown playlist for the Tigers hitters. That's clever.
Love that.
No score, top of the second. Ryan Valade, Vilade. First baseman, right-handed hitter. 0-1, a little bit too tall. 98 with that heater, a 1-1 count on Valade. Strider's 1-1. Big swing and a miss. Doing the breaking ball away there. And now Valade looking at 2 strikes. We'll see if Spencer can put him away with heat here. One, two. Low and outside. So a 2-2 count on Valade. Valade, 25 years old, from Stillwater, Oklahoma. Former second-round pick of the Rockies. Now in the Tigers organization. Strider set. Runners take their lead. It's 2-2 to the plate. Blew that right by him. Gets a swing and a miss on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And Strider finishes off the Tigers with a strikeout to leave runners at first and third here in the top of the second inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. Into the bottom of the second, no score. No score into the bottom of the second inning. Alongside Darren O'Day, Ben Ingram here with you. It'll be Marcell Ozuna leading it off for the Braves. Ozuna, Darno, and White. Ozuna fouls one off. 23 days from opening day. It's been fun to count that number down every single day. 3 weeks from Thursday, and we'll be in Philadelphia for game number 1. Can't wait. Well, 1 to Ozuna. Big lunge at a miss, 0-2.
It's hard to believe we're getting that close. Still see a lot of really good free agents on the market. It's going to be a challenge for those guys whenever they do eventually sign to get up to speed in time.
2 to Ozuna, low and outside. Does it surprise you that some of those names are still out there?
It really does, yeah. I mean, you know, that's Scott Boras, super agent. That's kind of his tactic, is to hold and wait. But as a player, I want to be in camp, getting ready, meeting my teammates, knowing where I'm going to live, and all that good stuff.
1-2, and he pops one up into shallow right center field. A trio of Tigers in the vicinity. This will be second baseman Colt Keith, who gallops to it. Makes the play, 1 down. You know, it's one thing if you're not signed by March the 1st, but around that time, I'd imagine later than that, you're ready to be in camp. You don't want to miss too much time down here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, spring training is, in my opinion, too long. But as you said, we're getting to that time where you need to be in camp getting your reps.
Travis d'Arnaud swings and fouls one off.
Across the league, we saw Cody Bellinger and Matt Chapman kind of take shorter length deals than they had hoped for, but it's that time. It's time to start preparing for what really matters.
0-1 to Travie, a little bit low. You got the reigning Cy Young Award winner in the National League out there in Blake Snell.
Mm-hmm.
You're surprised that Eddie Rosario hasn't landed anywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
That one surprises me. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Low it outside, 2-1.
Eddie got his peepers fixed.
Uh-huh.
Ready to play. I saw Renato Lopez also had eye surgery. I think it might have been the same one as Eddie a couple years ago. He couldn't see the sign.
Retinal detachment or whatever it was. That'll be swung on, missed.
He said that he would be out there on the field and not be able to see the catcher's signs. And so, Yasmani Grandal would call fastball. He'd throw a slider. A little bit dicey when the guy's throwing 99.
2-2 missed outside. Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
If I'm a hitter, I want the pitcher to see 20/20.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a blur that he might dome. There's a 3-2 pitch on the way to d'Arnaud, and he swings and misses. Fastball 95. Reese Olson between that fastball and his changeup, especially that changeup. That's good stuff.
Yeah, he looks pretty sharp here in the early going. That changeup, I every time he's throwing it, even that pop out to Ozuna was a changeup. It's got really good action on it. You see why the Tigers like this young man.
2 down for Eli White. No score in the bottom of the second. Eli takes called strike.
I had LASIK surgery as well. I used to wear contacts, and on windy days, I had the same problem. I couldn't see catcher signs.
Yeah. Well, 1 to White. That'll miss low and outside. How old are you when you had LASIK?
I think I was 32, 33.
Yeah. I was 33 when I had mine.
Yeah.
It's like a miracle.
It really is. Best surgery I've ever had.
1-1 low and outside.
Now that I think about it, there aren't too many fun surgeries, but that one is terrifying, but I'm so glad I had it done. It made pitching, especially on day games, windy games, much easier.
2-1 to Eli White. That ball's poked out to short. Sliding stop deep in the hole by Kreidler. He throws high to the bag at first. Eli White digging for second. That one goes to the railing of the Braves dugout. Up with it, Belade throws down to second base, and that throws too late. And Eli White's down at second base with what should be an infield single and then an error. Nice sliding stop to his right by the shortstop, Ryan Kreidler. Sliding into the grass of shallow left. Well, that throw over the head of Ryan Belade.
That was a heck of a play, sliding to his right, and it looked like he has plenty of arm. I don't know his arm grade, but he slung it pretty dang far from jump throw, sidearm flip. Might have had a little more time there.
So now David Fletcher with a runner at second and 2 down. Low and outside. Good backhanded stop by Carson Kelly. No runs for either team. See if it ends up being a hit for the Braves. And if it is, it'd be their first base hit of the ball game. 1-0 to Fletcher. High and away. Good eye. Laying off the fastball. It is a single and an error, so a single gets him to first, and the E6 on Kreidler gets him to second. Eli White ready to run on contact from second base. 2-0, check swing. Fletch didn't go, and a 3-0 count. David Fletcher coming over from the Angels. 3-0 pitch. Takes a strike. Fastball at the top of the zone. This veteran here in the spring hitting .500 right on the nose. 3-1. He lunges and pops one foul. And that's into the seats and a 3-2 count. For Fletcher, 29 years old, out of Loyola Marymount, former 6th-round pick of the Angels back in 2015, and was in the big leagues each of the last 6 seasons with the Angels. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Payoff pitch, slapped out towards short. Kreidler gets an opportunity to redeem himself. He delivers over to first base, and he makes the play. So Ryan Kreidler, I should say, makes the play, and that ends the bottom of the second inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left. We've completed 2. We head to the top of the third. No score. Two innings behind us. We head to the top of the third. No score. Braves and the Tigers from Cool-Today Park in Northport. Spring training home of the Atlanta Braves. And it's great to have you with us alongside Darren O'Day and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick. Ben Ingram here with you. Ryan Kreidler up to the plate. 9-1-2 for the Tigers here in the top of the third. And Kreidler takes the first pitch strike from Spencer Strider. Kreidler, McKinstry, and Perez for Detroit here in the third inning. 0-1. Blew that by him. Swung on and missed. Tigers open the season on the road this year. They go to Chicago to see the White Sox. They'll be there right before we get there. And then they head to New York to see the Mets before they head home for their home opener. Tigers will come to Atlanta this year. We'll see them June 17th, 18th, and 19th. 0-2 to Kreidler. Lined out toward short, past a lunging Orlando Arcia. Had a base hit into left field. Looked like an 0-2 slider that he was able to barrel and shoot up the middle, and there's a leadoff single. Tigers coming off a season that saw them go 78-84 last year. They finished second in the American League Central. It's a little bit misleading because the Twins won that division with 87 wins, and the Twins were the only team with a winning record last year in that division. McKinstry takes a called strike. Tigers finished 9 games out of first place. And believe it or not, 2023 was their 7th consecutive losing season. A 1 pitch. It's the outside corner.
Yeah, it's a little bit different look up there in Detroit now than the days where they had, Verlander, Scherzer, and David Price, 3 Cy Young winners in their rotation, and big high-dollar players all over the field.
Pitch inside. Yeah, 2016, the last time they had a winning record. They had 86 wins that year. They haven't won their division since 2014, but they've got a lot of good young talent on the way, and they feel like their luck's going to be changing soon. Here's a 2-1. Line drive through the right side. Bounces into right, hitting the bag at second, and holding now is Kreidler. And Kreidler and McKinstry have back-to-back singles to get it going for the Tigers here in the third.
The center fielder, number 46, leads out Perez.
Looks like Travis d'Arnaud is going to go out and have a little chat with Spencer Strider. Trying to get him to reset, refocus. Man on first and second, no outs here. Try to limit the damage as much as he can.
He's faced 10 batters, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk. He's allowed 3 base hits. And what are you noticing out of Spencer to this point?
Yeah, I think he was hoping his fastball command to be a little better today. I think he's just kind of missing down in the zone with it a little bit, where that makes that pitch just a little bit more hittable. Still not easy to hit, still 98, but a little bit easier.
Wenzel Perez takes one high and away.
And that's the challenge of high spin four-seamer guys. They're better up in the zone, but there's just not as many called strikes up in the zone. So sometimes you do have to come back in to the bottom of the zone to get a called strike.
1-0 in for a called strike. So when we envision a strike zone in our mind, we see that square or even rectangle, really, right there over the plate in front of the hitters. But that could be a little bit misleading given the heat map of where some of the strikes are called. 1-1, a swing and a miss. It might look more like a pyramid than anything.
Yeah, so I always imagine like a shoebox turned on its long end, and the top, I would say, top quarter of the shoebox, the called strike rate is just much lower than anywhere else in the strike zone. And umpires have gotten better.
1-2 pitch. It's low, 2-2.
Umpires have gotten better about calling the top of the strike zone since there's been, computerized pitch tracking. But it's still, it's harder to get a called strike at the top of the zone, especially like you mentioned in the corners at the top of the zone.
2-2 to Perez. Runners go. Pitch is popped up. Should be playable if they can find it towards foul ground, and that'll land in foul. Forrest Wall had a long way to go. David Fletcher, the third baseman, was running to cover the bag because the runners are on the move. If they're not moving, there's a good chance he gets over there and makes the play. But he wasn't going to be able to stop, spin around, find the ball, and then go get it. So it's a second life for Wenzel Perez with a 2-2 count. I've got a question about that pattern of low strikes versus high strikes. I'll ask you after this 2-2. Strider ready. He deals. Check swing. Didn't go. Is that pattern the main reason that we've seen catchers be more prone to go down to a knee to try to swipe up and steal a low strike?
Yeah, so if you think about where the umpire stands, he's usually behind the catcher. There's a little bit more room for wiggle room down there to manipulate the ball at the bottom of the strike zone so that, you can present it. If you catch it on the way up, you can kind of present it as being just a touch higher. And if you hold it, at the bottom of the zone, the catcher, Tyler Flowers is the guy that pops into my mind, and he's kind of passed that on to the other Braves catchers, but they're so good at stealing that low strike in this organization.
See if the runners go again. They do not. 3-2. Fouled off again. And given that you're getting more strikes at the bottom of the zone, you're going to get more catchers trying to swipe that up and squeeze that into the bottom portion of the zone and get that called strike.
If you look at the beginning of Spencer's season last year, he was trying to pitch in the strike zone more for strikes, trying to be more efficient with his pitches and get deeper into the games.
3-2 and a ground ball to second. Ozzie can't come up with it. It deflects off of his leg. Coming around third, looking to score. Kreidler with the throw to the plate. A lunge by Travis, and they got him. What a play. Hard hit grounder to Ozzie, and it carried from him to Orlando Arcia. And Arcia able to get to it and gun to the plate. A lot of movement by Orlando. By the time he went to it, his feet were in shallow center. And once he got it to Travis, Travis lunged to his left and got the incoming Kreidler for the out. Nice play.
Great awareness there by Arcia. And then to make that throw in such a hurry, he threw it a little bit up the line, so Travis had to lunge to his left. And I think he actually tagged Kreidler on his left hand. The base runner put his hands up, he was sliding, and Travis just barely nicked that left hand for the out.
There's a pitch inside. That'll be a base hit.
Runner out at home trying to advance 6-2.
It's a base hit for Wenzel Perez. McKinstry down to second. And a 6-2 put out for the first out of the inning. Still no score here in the top of the third. 1-0 from Strider. Got that one by the swinging bat of Kerry Carpenter.
So what I was saying is Spencer was trying to pitch in the zone more for strikes, and I think it was a few weeks into the season where Rick Kranitz got tired of watching it and just went out there and chewed on Spencer's ear a little bit and said, hey, let's just attack the strike zone with your best stuff.
1-1, ground ball to second, could be two. Ozzie spins, throws, there's one. Orlando to first, double play. Well, that's some nice play right up the middle by Ozzie on that play, and Orlando the prior play. And that gets Spencer out of the jam there in the top of the third. No runs, 3 hits, no errors, 1 left. Still scoreless into the bottom of the third inning. Eight, 9, and 1 coming up with the Braves here in the bottom of the third inning. It's a scoreless ball game. Braves and Tigers on a sunny, nice day here in Southwest Florida. Great to have you with us on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network. Pitch misses low to Louis Liberato. As it's Liberato, Martinez, and Wall for the Braves here in the bottom of the third inning. Reese Olson kicks and fires. Liberato takes breaking ball for a called strike. Good defense in the top of the inning. Some good throws around the infield. Braves got a double play and also an out at the plate. 1-1, big lunge and a miss by Liberato. Good crowd. Great day to be out there on that berm. They're out there by the dozens with their beach blankets, taking in the Braves and the Tigers. Wind in their face. Here's the 1-2 pitch, low and outside.
It's funny, Ben, first step out of my hotel this morning, I think the wind was gusting at 20-plus miles an hour, and I just laughed thinking about the carnage today. But I wasn't right. It's actually not too windy today. It's a beautiful day, like you mentioned.
2-2, hot shot out to second, taken knee high on one bounce by Colt Keith. Had his throw over to first base in time for the out. Yeah, your first trip down here, man, you've had some good weather. It's been a nice week for you down here. It's been about 80 and sunny everywhere we've been. As you're wrapping up your first tour of duty here in the Grapefruit League this spring. And I know we'll see you for, 3 more games down the road this spring?
Yep, right towards the end of the spring training.
And then we'll see you a lot this summer. G.P. Martinez takes a called strike. It has been fun to have you down here alongside Darren O'Day. Ben Ingram here with you. Joe back with us come Thursday after the off day tomorrow. There's the 0-1 hit well towards center. Wenzel Perez circles around the back of it, makes the catch, and 2 down here in the third inning.
We've also had some pretty well-played games, Ben. Knock on wood. We've had some good quality baseball, some great pitching from the Braves, which I've really enjoyed watching. I feel like, especially with this team's roster, pitching is the thing you want to see in spring training because the lineup is pretty much set. And you know those guys are going to hit with their track record. So great to see that early in the year, see these guys getting in their groove.
Yeah, it's been exciting seeing the level of pitching that the Braves have displayed this spring. Forrest Wall takes the ball low. Those guys are excited, man. Thinking about some of those relievers as well. There's a 1-0 pitch to Forrest Wall that swung on and missed. I'm very excited to see what this bullpen could be. because you look at it top to bottom, and they can be as good as they want to be. And it's such a good group down there and a great group in the rotation as well. Forrest Wall fouls one off, 1-2.
Yeah, the Braves bullpen could have two lines of plus pitchers. You know, when line one needs a night off, line two will get in there and be just as dominant. It's really how you get through a season without injuries, is having multiple guys you trust in those late innings. And they certainly have a lot of options down there.
Ball and 2 strikes on Forrest Wall. We'll send one foul. Chatting with Joe Jimenez last night and Pierce Johnson today, and they have said what so many others I've heard say this spring. They know they can go out there and be amongst the best in Major League Baseball, but here we are, February turning March, and the goal is the highest goal, and they know that. 1-2 pitch, slug foul down the right field line. And I like teams that can verbalize those goals. It's not just, well, we hope we're a good team and we'll just see what happens in October. No, it's much more focused than that, where so many players are saying, our goal is to win it all. They know they're capable of that, and that's the goal.
Certainly are some very lofty expectations in this organization. If you look back just 6-7 years ago, they weren't that. In the first year I got to Atlanta, we kind of snuck into the playoffs, and we weren't really ready to be there.
1-2 low and in.
I don't know if you remember 2018, we played the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
And I just remember we were running around with our chickens with our heads cut off, just trying to prepare for the series with a young bullpen, and that certainly is not the case this season.
2-2, whacked out towards right center field and down for a base hit. Forrest Wall, big turnaround first. Now he's going to go for second, and the ball is dropped out in right field. And now Wall's going for third. Here he comes, and he's in there with a feet-first slide. Man, that's some great hustle all the way around the bases by Forrest Wall, and excellent awareness.
You said it, awareness and hustle, just seeing the outfielder bobble the ball and taking second base. I said, oh, what a great play. And then he takes off for third because he knows he can run a little bit.
He's got wheels, and he had him on display right there. Great slide into third.
If I'm Brian Snitker or Alex Anthopoulos watching that play, that's a guy that I want on my roster during the season.
100%.
You know, it's to do that, to have that kind of awareness and have that kind of speed to close the deal.
Bat in the hands of Ozzie. Ozzie takes one high. He put the pressure on the right fielder Madris just with the turn that he took. And it's as if Forrest himself, making that aggressive turn, caused the error by Madris. And once he bobbled it, Forrest, that's all he needed. He took second and third. 1-0 low and in, 2 balls, no strikes. And they'll go base hit E9 on Madris.
So both times the Braves have gotten a man on the last 2 innings, and Olson's gone from the windup, which you pitch from with nobody on, to the stretch. He's struggled to locate. He's gone right to 2-0 here. Last time he went right to 3-0. You know, sometimes starting pitchers, when they're in a groove and they get one guy on, you know, great at bat by Forrest Wall. We didn't get to talk about it because of the great base running play, but he fouled off a bunch of really tough pitches to finally get one to poke to the outfield there.
Now a hitter's count on Ozzie. Base hit would score the first run of the ball game for either team. Currently scoreless. 2-0 pitch. Popped up, spinning back and foul. 2-1. Got some shade covering the ballpark right now as the clouds cover up the sun. Nice cool breeze across the field, blowing out towards left field. Ozzie's 0 for 1 with a strikeout, looking to drive in the run. 2-1 pitch. He reaches and misses. At a 2-2 count. Liberato grounded out. Martinez flied out. Wall with the base hit and then the 2-base error to get him to third base. Ozzie awaits. 2-2 pitch. And he swings and misses at strike 3. That's a really tough pitch delivered by Olson. And he gets his 4th strikeout of the ball game. So the Braves strand a runner at third. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left. We've completed 3. We head to the top of the 4th inning. No score. Tigers nothing, Braves nothing. Into the top of the fourth inning. And before we get things going, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Atlanta Braves baseball. Alongside Darren Odachowski, Ben Ingraham with you. Scoreless into the top of the fourth inning. Spencer Strider facing Justin Henry Malloy, Colt Keith, and Carson Kelly. Malloy takes a strike on the inside corner. Sun pops back out, lighting up this ballpark. Man, what a beautiful day. Grapefruit League game number 12 for the Braves. 0-1. Made him look foolish there. Check swing. They say that he didn't go. Thought he committed from here, but a 1-1 count. How about the Cardinals, who have not homered yet? Did you read about them?
Yeah, that's wild to hear, man.
Oh, J-Chad says that they hit a home run today, their first of the spring. 1-1, swung on, missed. They were looking at some of the stats earlier before the game, and they had not homered yet this spring. That changed today in their 9th game. Only one team has scored fewer runs. That's the Marlins, as they've only scored 27 this spring. Pirates coming in today have homered 18 times. Pirates leading Major League Baseball in spring training home runs entering today. Braves have hit a dozen. 1-2, a wave and a miss by Justin Henry Malloy. Went away with the slider. One out here in the fourth inning.
Yeah, it looks like Spencer's kind of refined that slider a little bit here in the late part of the third inning and now in the fourth inning. Little more truer break that we're used to seeing from last season. That was a nice one to put him away there.
Colt Keith with a ground ball out to first. Marcelo Zuna has it nicely. There's a toss to the bag. Spencer's there. Good play by Marcel, who's playing first base today, and 2 down. Boy, Spencer would love a quick 1, 2, 3, 4th. The plan for him today was to have 4 innings of work. And he saw some traffic there in the second and third innings, Darren, so to have a clean inning here in the fourth would be great.
Yeah, that's always the goal. You know, you want to get all your innings in with the amount of pitches you're allowed to throw. Travis d'Arnaud doing a veteran catcher move, moseying on out there to the mound to either A, give Spencer a break from running to first base, or B, give the guy warming up in the bullpen a little more time in case he needs to go.
That's Roldy Munoz tossing in the Braves bullpen. If you had pitched with a pitch clock and you had to play at first base, do you think you'd have gone to meet with the catcher at the plate? There's a called strike.
Yeah.
We're talking one way or the other. I need some time.
Yeah, that's more walking for me. So it probably, I don't know how long it takes the trainer to bring a tank of oxygen out to the mound, but however that long is what I need.
Oh, and the Kelly fouled off. Nothing in 2.
Everybody jokes about pitchers not being athletes, but we train to do one thing, and that's to throw this ball into the shoebox, and that's what we're good at. That doesn't mean we're good at other things. I always love when people ask, hey, why couldn't you hit? Well, because that's a completely different set of skills.
0-2. Kelly with a swing and a miss. Yeah, that's like asking a left tackle why he can't hit a free throw.
Right.
Just because you're an athlete doesn't mean you can do everything.
Yeah.
It's a good inning for Spencer Strider. Flipped the breaking ball in there. Got a 1, 2, 3 inning. We head to the bottom of the fourth inning. No score.
Bottom four here at Cool Today Park. Score still knotted up, 0-0. Orlando Arcia will face a new Tigers pitcher, Wilmer Flores, and no, not that one you're thinking of.
First pitch from Flores. That comes in and just missed hitting Arcia on the hand. Yeah, different Wilmer Flores, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm still a little new to this, so I had me a little rattled between innings trying to find Wilmer Flores. Part two.
1-0, squared up and hit hard out towards right field. Leadoff single for Orlando Arcia. And that's how the Braves welcome Flores into the ball game. Flores, big right-hander, 6'4", 225 out of Valencia, Venezuela. Went to Arizona Western College in Yuma, Arizona. This is his third spring training appearance. Spent time in high A and double A with Detroit last year. Ozuna takes one up and in. Final line on the starter, Reese Olson. 3 innings, no runs, 2 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts. He had a solid day.
Yeah, it was tidy work for him.
1-0 to Olson. Strike. Right over the outside corner with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. No runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for Detroit. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Braves. Ozuna takes one high. Snap throw down to first by Carson Kelly. Tag is late. They're trying to catch Arcia napping over there, and he's back in there with a dive. Ozuna, 1 home run this spring. Getting some play at first base today. 2-1 is high. If he plays at first base at a major league game, it'll be the very first time he's ever done it in the regular season.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool that he's willing to try that. You know, I always used to see him goofing around with Wash, doing the infield drills, and see him taking ground balls. I never thought it would actually lead to him playing first base.
Getting that chance today. 3-1 and a ground ball weakly to second. Colt Keith approaches, toss it to second. There's one. Kreidler to first base at a double play. 4-6-3. That wipes away Arcia and Ozuna, and 2 down for Travis d'Arnaud. Coming off the bat, you're hoping it's hit weak enough where they only get the 1 out. That had just enough juice on it for the Tigers to turn 2. In the top of the 5th, we're expecting to see Charlie Morton on the mound for the first time this spring. Pitch up and into Travis d'Arnaud. Spencer Strider, 4 innings today, a couple of 1-2-3 innings, and then worked around a couple of jams in the other 2. Fouled off the foot of Travis d'Arnaud. That sends him down to the ground. And he slowly gets up. He's all right. Ball to strike on d'Arnaud.
Wilmer Flores, part due, showing a nice heater, 97, 96, 97. That's right where Travis likes it. Travis told me he doesn't like guys that throw slow because it's below his hitting speed.
He loves the first pitch fastball. 1-1 fouled off.
Yeah, he's got an uncanny ability to time up a heater no matter how fast it is.
Staring at a 1-2 count here. d'Arnaud 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Went down swinging in the second inning. Waiting on the 1-2 pitch from the tall, lean righty Flores. Here it comes. Bounced in front of the plate. Travis picks it up off the chest protector of Carson Kelly and lobs it himself over to the Braves dugout.
The catcher's got to stick together. Braves coach Sal Fasano likes to say the catchers are the backbone of the team, and I agree with him. And that's particularly true in the case of Travis and Sean Murphy here.
2-2 fouled off over the seating bowl and onto the concourse down the right field line.
For my money, that's the most important position on the field. A good catcher that's good at calling games and handling the pitching staff can change the whole identity of that pitching staff. You look at somebody like Adley Rutschman in Baltimore. Well, as soon as he got there, they turned out to be pretty good.
2-2 grounded foul. Well, if that's true, then the Braves have a pretty good backbone.
Right. Travis has been here for a few years now, and not just a backbone in terms of playing on the field, but a great guy, a great leader. He's a connector. He brings people together. Always has a great joke. You know, if you need a good conversation, game gets a little slow, you go to Travie D.
He's your guy.
Yeah.
Base is empty, 2 down, no score, bottom of the 4th. Wind up in the 2-2 pitch. A swing and a miss. Fastball 99. Flores with a really good fastball on display there in the bottom of the 4th inning. And that ends that frame. We will see Charlie Morton on the mound when we come back into the top of the 5th inning. No score through 4. Inning, brand new battery for the Braves. Mentioned that Charlie Morton's on the mound. He'll be in harness with Chadwick Tromp. And for Charlie, this is the first time we've seen him this spring. 40-year-old right-hander will be going into his 17th season in the big leagues. Went 14-12 a year ago through 30 starts at a 3.64 ERA. That's amazing, isn't it? 39 years old last year, made 30 starts.
Mm-hmm.
Goes to work versus Bly Madris and misses outside.
17th spring training.
That's a lot, isn't it?
As soon as you said that, I was thinking, I wonder how many PFPs, how many pitchers fielding practice he's taken.
About 3 million. Paul Lowen outside. 95 on the fastball from Charlie. 2 balls, no strikes. Bly Madris 0 for 1 with a pop out. 2-0 and foul, arcing its way into the seats down the left field line. Yeah, that finger issue at the end of the season last year. Didn't get to see him in the postseason. There's a 2-1. That was high and outside.
Yeah, not a common injury. It does happen. I know a guy that had a finger injury, maybe for different reasons than Charlie. That would be me. And they're not fun, I can tell you that.
3-1 in for a called strike. Madris thought it was ball 4. Yeah, you need those to pitch, don't you?
You do. And one year I came up, I was having finger pain in my middle finger, the pitch that my breaking ball would come off of.
3-2 from Charlie, outside ball 4.
And so the first thing when a pitcher has tingling and pain in their hands, they think, thoracic outlet syndrome, where your blood vessel gets pinched by your first rib up near your collarbone. So that's not a fun test to have. Had that, nothing. Checked all the muscles were good, and then they sent me to a nerve doctor and found out I had carpal tunnel syndrome.
Really?
Yeah, I was filing too many TPS reports at the office,
Ryan Valade takes a called strike. You're doing some office work during the offseason?
Yeah, the improper mouse angle.
Yeah.
No, I think the culprit might have been, pitching, first of all, and excessive ping pong playing.
Not you.
No.
There's the 0-1 pitch to Valade. Check swing in for a strike. See, that seems more likely just because I've heard your trash talk about ping pong before.
Yeah, the Orioles team I was on, we played hours and hours of ping pong every day. It was, these guys just aren't competitive on the field, off the field. There's always something every year.
0-2 got him. He swings and misses. Fastball 96 from Morton. Had one down here in the 5th inning.
40 years old, chucking 96 in his first appearance of the spring. Yeah, we talk about Spencer maybe being a unicorn or Hurston Waldrop being a unicorn. This is the unicorn on the Braves pitching staff.
Mm-hmm.
Be able to do that at that age is extremely impressive.
Really developing into that. I mean, we've said it a dozen times. There's Ryan Kreidler, breaking ball outside. But if you go to Baseball Reference and you look at the career for Charlie Morton and looking at the numbers year in, year out, you can see when it really clicked with him as a pitcher, with his stuff, what he wants to do, his mentality. 1-0 just missed the inside corner. Because you go back first 7-8 years of his career, most of his career in Pittsburgh, he's a sinker ball pitcher.
Yeah.
And he's pitching to contact. And he told me one time, he said, frankly, I was bored doing that. I wanted to get strikeouts. 2-0 pitch. That's in for a called strike. And that's what the Astros thought as well when they brought him over, and really changed his identity as a pitcher. So not only did he get better results, I think he enjoyed the art of pitching more at that point.
Punch-outs are so much fun.
Pick off to first base, close play, back in with a dive, Madriz.
I remember Charlie being one of the handful of guys that saw the success that Doc Holliday was having, and kind of mimicking that. And Charlie came out the next year throwing exactly like Roy Halladay. You know, sinker, cutter, and he kind of stuck with that for a few years.
2-1 fouled back, 2-2.
And over a 17-year career, you're going to go through some iterations of how you get guys out. And Charlie's so gifted that he was pretty good even when he was a sinker cutter guy. And now he's a little bit different. Now he's throwing the big curveball that he's famous for, and still really, really good.
No score, top of the 5th. Morton's 2-2. A little bit high, 3-2. Do you feel like watching him, it's kind of reverse of what you normally see? Usually you'll see pitchers come on early on in their career, throwing 97, 98, then adapt to sinker ball or taking a little bit off. For Charlie, I feel like he's throwing as harder now than he ever has. Runner on the move on the 3-2 count, and that missed inside for ball 4.
Yeah, he really is. Like Benjamin Button of pitchers, he's doing it the opposite way. You know, if he stays healthy this season, he's looking at getting his 2,000th inning pitched and his 2,000th strikeout. 2 career marks that, to me, are a real achievement. That means you've been doing it well and doing it for a long time.
Let's see, he needs 120 strikeouts. There's ball outside. He had 183 last year. So if he's healthy, he should reach that mark. And he needs just under 40 innings to reach 2,000 innings pitched in the big leagues. Here's the 1-0 to Zach McKinstry. He swings, and it's a high fly ball, deep right field. Liberato's going back at the warning track, squares up to it, makes the catch. Runners tag and hold. Little breeze out towards left, and that fly ball to right gets knocked down a little bit. And 2 away here in the 5th inning.
Fortunate for the Braves, I'm not sure what Bly Madris was doing there at second base. That's a ball you should easily tag up and be standing at third base now. But, yeah, that one looked like it had a chance. But, like we said, pretty calm wind today, blowing out a little bit to left field, and that ball was hit out to right.
2 down for Wenzel Perez. Tigers nothing, Braves nothing. First pitch in there, a called strike. Braves in the bottom of the inning will have White, Fletcher, and Liberato coming up. Leg kick in the 0-1. A little bit low. They get a 1-1 count on Wenzel Perez.
That's a strike all day, bud. It's spring training for the umpires, too. Just warming up.
1-1, that's low. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I want these spring training umpires to widen that keyhole. 2 balls and a strike on Perez. Charlie Morton, ball in the glove right in front of his belly. 2-1 will miss inside and a 3-1 count.
Yeah, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm excited to see what I think is inevitably going to happen, which is the pitch challenge system where the where the batter can challenge balls and strikes. I think that'd be great. And hearing from the guys that experience that in the minor leagues, they love that system.
3-1 and a big bouncer to first. Testing Marcell Ozuna. He scoops it cleanly. Nice play by Marcell right behind the bag. And was able to reach down and scoop it about calf high and take it to the bag for the unassisted out. Very good play. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 left. Halfway home. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. No score. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning here at Cool Today Park. Braves nothing, Tigers nothing. Alongside Darren O'Day, Ben Ingram here with you. Still Flores on the mound for the Tigers. And his first pitch in there, called strike on Eli White. Eli White, 29 years old, out of Clemson. 6 games with the Braves last year. Coming over from the Texas Rangers. Well, 1 fouled off. I don't know, 2 count. No runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for the Tigers. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Braves. Braves have stranded 2. Tigers have stranded 5. 0-2 to White. Late on the swing. Got challenged with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And strikeout number 2 now for Flores. So he comes out blowing the smoke. 1 down here in the 5th inning. Here's David Fletcher. Fletcher 0 for 1 with a ground out. It's ball high. 1 ball, no strikes. Got the off day tomorrow. Braves have just 2 off days the entire spring session. And one of them coming up tomorrow, so no broadcast tomorrow. There's a ball lifted out towards center field. That'll lay down for a base hit. David Fletcher turned that hanger right around and deposited into center field. 1 out single for the Braves. Listening to some of these players talk about the golf tournament tomorrow, you'd think that the Masters was coming up tomorrow. That's a big day.
It is. It really is. Bragging rights are the prize. And that's probably the most important thing in that clubhouse is saying, hey, I beat you. A.J. Minter's team took home the crown last year. I think Michael Harris II was on that team.
Liberato swings and misses. Top 3-4 golfers in that clubhouse for 2024. Who you like?
Oh, you're going to make me say this.
Absolutely.
Bryce Elder's number 1. I can't believe I have to say Jackson Stevens is good at golf. Number 2.
0-1 pitch. That'll miss inside.
Austin Riley, absolute ball striking clinic. A little bit of a heavy touch around the green sometimes. And Matt Olson, pretty good player. If he's having a bad day, just hope you don't have a house on the left side of the fairway. Gets a little snappy sometimes.
1-1, that'll be fouled off.
But a good player told me recently he shot I think he said 74.
Wow.
I said, was there a retaining wall down the left side of the fairway of all 18 holes or what? Golf being one of the main hobbies of baseball players, probably the most passionate one as well.
Yeah, it's probably at the top of the list. 1-2, swing and a miss by Liberato, so he's fooled there and strikes out.
Center fielder number 67, J.P. Martinez.
2 down for J.P. Martinez.
Oh, and I forgot Minter as well.
Yeah, Mint can play.
I hate watching him play. He's a middle of the fairway, boring golfer. What's a round of golf without some trips into the woods to me is not fun.
Yeah. Called strike on J.P. Martinez.
And Mint just matriculates the ball down the middle of the fairway, 150 yards at a time.
Just
and then
a machine.
Nice short game. At the end of the day, you could fall asleep watching him play, but he beats you by the end of the day.
0-1, blew that by him, 0-2. So lulls you to sleep and then just blitzes right by you.
Yeah. When he's pitching, he's got flair. He's got the left-handed Greg Kimbrell thing. He throws gas. He's got a little baby mullet going. Golf game, no flair, except for he likes to wear salmon-colored shirts.
So does J-Chad. Pitch misses up and away. 1-2 on Martinez. And you're still hanging, with your golf game, you're still hanging right there with them or better than some of them, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, we'll
It's
find
your
out.
opportunity to brag on yourself. 1-2, and he gets a piece to hang alive.
I like to exceed expectations, Ben.
Yeah.
Golf game's a little rusty. My current hobbies and my home golf course being closed have cut into my time of playing golf, so you never know where you stand until you get on that first tee box.
Hedging the bet and making the excuses before we even get to the tournament. 1-2 pitch, that'll be fouled back. Now, that'll be great. I can't wait to hear more about it and see who comes away with the bragging rights.
I think the most important player tomorrow is going to be Mother Nature. We had, like you said, we've had great weather since I've been here. Beautiful days tomorrow. We got a little forecast for some rain.
Okay.
Well, I hope that doesn't cut into your off-day plans.
Here comes the 1-2 to J.P. Martinez. That'll miss outside. Probably won't. I was thinking to myself, well, I'd love to go do something, but at the same time, you get a chance to catch a few more Z's.
Yeah.
That might be tough to turn down.
I know Jay Chad's excited about his day of just diving into a box of Kleenex, sitting on the couch, watching Below Deck.
He's going to have an endorsement by the time it's all said and done. Pitch misses high. 3-2 on J.P. Martinez. And that's the great thing about coming down to Brave Spring Training. Come down and catch the team play a game or two. Or 10, 15 minutes from the beach, depending on where you stay. And if the Braves have an off day or get done finish up early, you can go check out the beach. Let's ball up and in for ball 4. But it's a great area. And if you've never been down here to join us over the course of spring training, we'd love to see you.
Left field number 73, Forrest Wall.
About 3 weeks left in spring training. No score in the bottom of the 5th inning. Forrest Wall is 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. And he could put the Braves on the board for the first time right here. Forrest takes first pitch down. 1 ball, no strikes.
Now you got me thinking about golf, Ben. I'd be remiss in not mentioning Charlie Morton. He hits the ball farther than all these other guys in the clubhouse.
He can blast it, huh?
Oh, he's a freak.
1-0 touches the inside corner. 1-1.
I had him out to my club once, and I said, all right, here on this par 4, just hit it over this bunker. You'll be good. You'll have about 100 yards in. Well, he hits it over that bunker I pointed out, and he hit it 375 into a lake down there. I never anticipated that.
1-1. Swung on, missed by Wall.
So it was bad caddying, so we didn't give him a penalty stroke because it was my fault.
It was your fault.
Yeah.
Martinez at first, Fletcher at second. 1-2 to Wall. In the dirt, knocked down by the catcher Kelly, but the runners take off. A throw down to third, and they got David Fletcher. Carson Kelly took that off the chest protector, but kept it in front of him. Was able to pounce on it and throw down to third base, and that dissolves the bottom of the 5th for the Braves and takes the bat out of the Forrest Wall's hands. So that ends the bottom of the 5th. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. We head to the top of the 6th inning. No score. Tigers and Braves scoreless into the top of the 6th inning. Changes galore for the Braves. Phillip Evans, the new first baseman. Andrew Velazquez in the ball game at second base. Got the two Lukes on the left side of the infield. Luke Waddell at short. Luke Williams at third. Kerry Carpenter takes the ball high and outside. Jordan Luplow is the new left fielder. Cody Milligan, the new center fielder. Sky Bolt is the new right fielder. Still Tromp behind the plate. And Morton on the mound. 1-0 pitch on the way to Kerry Carpenter. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball down, 1-1. Sky Bolt's a great name, isn't it?
Definitely on the all-name team.
There's a 1-1 pitch. And a miss outside. 2 balls and a strike on Kerry Carpenter. Carpenter 0 for 2. I don't think it called strike. 2-2. Charlie Morton last inning went walk, strikeout, walk, fly out, ground out. 2-2 to Carpenter. Into the air to right field. That humpback liner's down for a base hit. Leadoff single by Kerry Carpenter.
You mentioned Sky Bolt playing right field now. He used to train at the training gym I'd go to in the off-season. I wasn't sure if he's from Atlanta, but he is. He went to Holy Innocents High School. Smart guy, went to UNC Chapel Hill for college. Fantastic name, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a good one. Keston Hira is pinch running for Kerry Carpenter. There's a called strike on Justin Henry Malloy. Tigers have Joey Wentz tossing in their bullpen. He was once a Braves farmhand. Pitch from Charlie, low and outside. Runner at first, no one out. Pitch to Malloy, a swing and a miss. For the Tigers, they've had no problems getting men on base. They have struggled with men on base. They have 5 hits, but nothing to show for it yet. Meanwhile, the Braves, no runs on 4 hits. 1-2 from Charlie. Hot shot to third, gloved by Williams. Slings it to second. There's one. Velazquez to first. There's 2. All the way around the horn. 5-4-3 in the second double play turned by the Braves in the ball game.
I think one thing the Braves do well, especially some of these backups, these guys that might not start the season on the roster, is they played great defense. You know, sometimes the defense can be hit or miss late in these games. And I've been here for a week now, and the defense has really been on point.
Called strike on Colt Keith. Yeah, it's been good no matter who's been out there. We've seen some really good glove work. Colt Keith takes the ball high. This guy was taken in the 5th round of the 2020 draft by the Tigers over his commitment to Arizona State. Ball and a strike to Keith. He swings and misses. And a 1-2 count on Keith.
Well, Mr. Keith probably made the right choice since he's one of their top prospects, but he missed out on a lot of fun there at Arizona State.
Oh, man, did he? There's a 1-2. That's low and inside. And I was reading an interview that he gave, I guess, here recently, and somebody asked him about that decision to sign with the Tigers over his commitment to Arizona State, and he said, money aside, school just isn't my thing.
Oh.
I wanted to go play, and I'm thinking, anyone who goes to Arizona State, school is not their thing. They're not there for the academics. That'll be swung on and missed by Keith. And that ends the top of the 6th inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, none left. Still scoreless into the bottom of the 6th inning.
On to the bottom sixth here at Cool Today Park. Score still knotted at 0-0. On the pitch for the Tigers is a familiar face, Joey Wentz, 26-year-old left-hander from Lawrence, Kansas. Pitched for Detroit last year in the big leagues. 25 games, 19 starts. I'm not going to mention the rest of the numbers because I like Joey.
Jordan Luplow. First pitch from Wentz misses down. All right, bunch of changes coming your way. Get to him in just a second. It's still Valade at first, but the rest of the infield is different.
The new right fielder is 81, TJ Hopkins.
There's a 1-0 pitch on the way to Luplow. That'll miss low and inside. New second baseman is Jace Young. New shortstop is Edie's Leonard. And the new third baseman is Buddy Kennedy. There's the 2-0 pitch to Jordan Luplow. In for a called strike. New left fielder is Justice Bigby. New right fielder is TJ Hopkins. This one's off the mitt and all the way to the backstop of Carson Kelly. How's your scorebook holding up today?
I had a little road bump here this last inning, but we'll figure it out.
I mean, you're making a little bit of progress day by day, right? There's a pitch high. And Luplow is aboard.
Yeah, for those that haven't tuned in, these spring training games are tough to score because of all the substitutions, especially around this time of the game. And I'm scorebook challenged, to say the least.
Yeah, when you come down here and call spring training games, it's more spring training of scoring a game than it is anything on the air, isn't it? Andrew Velazquez receives a called strike.
Yeah, it really is.
No scores. We're in the sixth inning. Wentz deals. That'll be fouled back.
What was the trade that sent Wentz to Detroit?
That was Shane Green.
Oh, yeah. Sugar Shane.
You learned some interesting lessons in philosophy from Shane Green, didn't you? There's the 0-2 pitch. That'll miss low it in.
Yeah, we've talked about that. I think we talked about it last season, but Shane Green, a valuable member of the 2020 team, and I think he was also here a little bit in 21. He had some interesting viewpoints on life, and I remember the first night he sat in the bullpen down there. I just couldn't believe that this guy's up there telling me how strongly he believes in aliens and thinks they have visited us multiple times.
Velazquez takes one high. This is day one as a teammate?
Day one. And I'm thinking, okay, all right, aliens, no big deal. And then he leaned a little bit more to the conspiratorial side. He also believed that dinosaur fossils were a money-making scheme by museums and governments.
Velazquez smashes one to left field. That's down for a base hit. And down to second base for Jordan Luplow. Well, the Braves have something going with a couple of runners on here in the sixth inning. See, I didn't know that part of the story. I didn't know that this was day one. So to throw that information out on day one, you really want to establish with your new teammates exactly who you are. So this was premeditated.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in there and tell my teammates about all the things that I believe, and we're going to take it from there. I want them to know me. Luke Waddell up to the plate. Waddell with a bouncer out to second. Young takes the slow bouncer, has one play. That's at first base. Goes to first and gets Waddell. Down to second base for Velazquez, over to third base for Luplow.
You know, there's little teams within the team in a major league roster. You know, you got the hitters, you got the starting pitchers, the bullpen, and the catchers kind of bridge all those groups. And the bullpen of all those groups spends the most time just sitting around idly talking, because if Max Fried is on his game, you're not going to pitch. You know, you don't have to worry about getting warmed up to the 7th inning.
First pitch low and into Phillip Evans.
So as a member of the bullpen, you love interesting guys. You love guys that are a little bit different and, prompt stimulating conversation down there because you have a good amount of idle time down there.
They're going to pass the time. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Phillip Evans. Infield in. Evans hits one out towards center field. Going back now and making the catch is Perez. Tagging from third base and coming to the plate with the game's first run is Jordan Luplow. And it is 1-0 Braves. We're scoreless no more. Velasquez made it to third base as both runners tagged and advanced. And Evans gets the job done to make it 1-0 Atlanta. See if Chadwick Tromp can add a run here. Chadwick Tromp having a good spring. He's homered once this spring. First pitch to Tromp and a line drive caught by the third baseman Kennedy. And that ends the bottom of the 6th inning. But the Braves pick up the first run of the ball game. And they do so on the sac fly RBI by Phillip Evans. We have played 6. We head to the 7th, 1-0 Braves.
Seventh here at Cool Today Park. Charlie Morton on for his 3rd inning of work in his spring training debut. Score now stands at 1-0 Braves after a nice bottom of the 6th. Jordan Luplow scoring the first run of the game. Came home on a Phillip Evans sacrifice fly to center field.
And Charlie, as you mentioned, going into his 3rd inning of work, and that was the plan for him, right? Get 3 innings today?
Yeah, he must have been doing some work on the backfields. He probably did a sim game where he got his 2 innings worth of work in, and now he jumps right to 3 in his first appearance, where we've seen, Max Fried and Spencer Strider starting at 2 innings in their first appearance.
Good thing about being a veteran, there's Carson Kelly. Takes ball inside. Not that some of these other veterans couldn't do that, but when you talk about 40-year-old righty, he knows exactly what he needs to do. Here's what I'm going to do, and here's the schedule that I want.
Mm-hmm.
And the team will oblige. There's a fly ball to deep right field, but not deep enough. Going back, Sky Bolt makes the catch. 1 down.
Yeah, we were wondering when we might see Charlie. It's good to see him out there, but as you mentioned, it's his 17th spring training, so he might have done this a few times before.
Yeah, if anybody knows what he's doing, it's Charlie. One nothing Braves as we're in the top of the 7th inning. T.J. Hopkins up to the plate. He's late on the swing. Down 0-1. Good hard fastball low and away. Another swing and a miss by Hopkins.
And speaking of starting pitching, I saw a cool article on StatCast standouts from the 30 different teams. And the Braves had a couple starting pitchers pop up on there. Chris Sale being one of them, a guy that Braves Nation is very excited about for all that he brings with his staff. They said when he was at his best, he was averaging 14 to 15 inches of sweep on his slider.
Well, 2 is down. That's a lot.
Yeah, and that's part of his game, is that severe east-west movement. Well, last year, I guess the sweep on his slider was down closer to 11 and a half inches, and here early in spring, he's back up to averaging 15 to 16 inches of sweep, and he even thrown a couple that have broken 20 inches.
1-2, sent down the left field line, down for a base hit. That'll roll to the base of the wall. T.J. Hopkins digging for second base, and he has a one-out double. His first trip to the plate, and he makes it count with the double. And one down for the Tigers with a runner at second base. Going back to what you just mentioned on Chris Sale, is that result simply because he's healthy?
Likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to be feeling pretty good. He's been popping 97s, 98s here at spring. And that slider for him is such a weapon. You know, we know about the deception. We know about the fastball, but the slider is what I think he got about 2/3 of his punch-outs last year on. So good to see that pitch in top form.
Yeah, because a guy can tell you how good he feels all day long. He can say, I'm 100%, best shape of my life, all that stuff. Ryan Valade takes a called strike. But the play speaks volumes. And in fact, the play and the results tell you everything you need to know about a guy's health. And Chris saying it as well as putting forth those kinds of metrics, that tells you exactly where he is. And that's good news. 0-1 is high, 1-1.
Another guy Braves Nation probably pretty excited about, Hurston Waldrop, showed up on this, and we got to watch him pitch a couple days ago up in Dunedin. And I personally came away pretty impressed with what he had facing major league hitters for the first time in his life.
Charlie deals, misses low.
But his pitch he's really known for is a high 80 splitter, and that's a pretty hard splitter, but what's exceptional about his is how much spin he can take off the ball. And being able to subtract that much spin makes the ball drop that much more and more sharply.
2-1 to Blade, fouled back 2-2.
So his splitter that he was throwing the other day only averaged 574 revolutions per minute, which is extremely low. And if you go across the entirety of the major leagues, there's only one guy who comes close to that, and that's Felix Bautista, the lights-out closer for the Orioles. And even his is spinning, 300-400 RPMs more than Hurston's.
2-2, got him looking. Beautiful pitch, able to paint the corner with a heater. And 2-away here in the 7th.
So something, something old, something new.
Yeah. Well, it was fun to see Hurston Waldrop the other day, and I never would have guessed that was the first time he's faced major league batters. He was very sharp.
Yeah, he looked pretty composed for a guy who hasn't even been in professional baseball for a full year now.
Snit out, and that'll be it for Charlie Morton. As he goes 2 2/3 of an inning, he'll finish his day with a strikeout. Crowd giving him standing ovation as he walks back to the first base dugout. So good to see Charlie for the first time this spring. And the Braves will bring along Anthony Vizcaya, right-hander, whom we've seen a couple of times already. And Snit hoping that he can come in and pick up one more out and put up another 0 up on the board. Braves leading 1-0 as we're here in the top of the 7th inning. As Vizcaya trots in. Vizcaya will be the third pitcher used by the Braves today. So they get 6 2/3 from Strider and Morton. That was really the play today, was to see 4 innings out of one and 3 out of the other. So altogether, I think thumbs up across the board for Morton and for Strider today.
Yeah, I think if you ask Charlie, there's probably a little bit of rust, on the game early there, but he's got to be happy with his outing. He got through 2 2/3, 2 hits, 2 walks, 3 punch-outs. And as you said, Charlie likes punch-outs, so I got to be happy with that. I saw him mixing his changeup in more often than I remember him throwing. He only threw about 10% of them last year, and I saw him start off an inning with a changeup to each batter, and maybe that's something he's working on here in spring as he works up to his full pitch load by the end of this. Would you say 23 days till opening day?
23 days. And that's the cool thing about spring training. I mean, what you do during the regular season, in all likelihood, you're probably not going to be doing that down here. You want to work on some things that maybe you wouldn't be leaning quite as much on in the regular season. So you want to throw a few more change-ups or curveballs and throw it in counts where you normally wouldn't. This is the place to do it.
Yeah.
Sharpen those tools. Anthony Vizcaya, the right-hander from Venezuela, is out there now. 6 feet tall, 220 pounds, making his third appearance of the spring. He's given up 2 runs on 2 hits. Both hits home runs and an inning and a third in the Grapefruit League this year. 1-0 Braves in the top of the 7th. Edie's Leonard up to the plate. Takes ball low. Leonard with bright orange batting gloves. Waiting on the 1-0 pitch from Vizcaya. That'll miss outside. A run on 5 hits for the Braves. No run, 6 hits for the Tigers. Lead at second by Hopkins. Pitch to the plate. Ground ball out to short to his left and gloving Waddell. Nice gliding play, throwing over to first base, getting the out. And another 0 up on the board for the Tigers. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. Time to stretch. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. 1-0 Braves.
Back to spring training action on the Braves Radio Network.
Bottom 7 here at Cool Today Park. Braves clinging to a narrow 1-0 lead. Next pitcher for the Tigers will be Brant Herter, the big boy, peach fed, 6'6", 250 from Atlanta.
First pitch inside, 1-0.
Well, he's from Canton, Georgia. Liked Atlanta so much, he went to Georgia Tech.
Here's his 1-0 pitch to Eli White, or rather to Nacho Alvarez, and that's skied towards right field. T.J. Hopkins under it, 1 down. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Braves Radio Network.
Third baseman number 74, Lou Williams.
So 1 down for Luke Williams. Yeah, brand new battery altogether. You mentioned Herter on the mound. Dylan Dingler is the catcher. He's definitely on the Grapefruit League all-name team.
These names, man.
Dylan Dingler. And down at first base, Jake Holton. So the Herter and Dingler battery. There's a ball outside. It's really going to get tricky when you got Herter and Dingler and Sky Bolt up to the plate here in a moment. All sorts of great names. 1-0 pitch. In the air to center field. Perez drifting makes the catch. And 2 away here in the 7th inning.
Right fielder number 73, Sky Bolt.
Sky Bolt up to the plate. Great to have you with us today, bringing a Grapefruit League action from Northport here on a Tuesday. Alongside Darren O'Day, Ben Ingram here with you. Sky Bolt Takes a called strike. Framed up well in the inside corner by Dingler. Bolt sends one foul, 0-2. Right-hander Herder, fourth pitcher used by A.J. Hinch in the ball game. Herder's dad played college ball at Wake Forest, and his mom played basketball at Wake Forest. There's a ball high and outside. And Herder himself, as Darren mentioned, playing baseball at Georgia Tech, former 7th-round pick of the Tigers. Big lefty ready to bring the 1-2 pitch to Sky Bolt. Pushed him off the plate with a fastball on a 2-2 count. Bolt awaits, pitch from Herder, and he swings over the top of the slider. And that is strike 3. So the Braves go down in order for just the second time of the ball game. We have completed 7 in a pitcher's duel today. We head to the top of the 8th inning, 1-0 Braves. Nothing Braves into the top of the 8th inning. And Braves postseason legend Tyler Matzek on the mound. He's making appearance number 2, take that back, number 3 this spring, should say. 2 scoreless outings. He's gone an inning and 2/3 scoreless, 2 hits allowed, a couple of walks, a couple of strikeouts. And you and I were having a conversation the other day, Darren, about what we've seen in pitchers who have stood out. And just seeing Matzek come back from Tommy John, that's one hurdle. But seeing him put up the kind of stuff that we've seen in his first 2 outings, that's another even taller hurdle, and he's looked pretty good coming across both of those.
Yeah, he really has, and he's doing all that while making adjustment to pitching with the pitch clock. As we discussed, he's never pitched under the set of rules that the guys have to deal with now.
First pitch to Buddy Kennedy registers as a strike. Yeah, for everybody else, they're used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Speed of the game is no issue for them anymore, and now for Matzek, he's where everybody else was last year. Getting used to that pace of play. Buddy Kennedy lifts one towards right field. Sky Bolt backpedaling, went left, now right. Wind was pushing that one direction then the other, but he makes the catch. And one away here in the 8th inning.
And we talked before about kind of the catcher carousel you can encounter in spring training and late innings. You just don't know if you're going to work with the guy. And Tyler did tell me Rivero had never caught him before, so a little bit of a challenge there trying to figure out the game plan and what pitches they wanted to throw.
Trey Cruz swings and misses.
And so that resulted in a time violation on Tyler in his last outing. So today he gets to work with a familiar face back there. Chadwick Tromp has caught him for a few years now. They should look for them to be on the same page.
Well, one check swing. They appeal. He did go. That's nasty right there.
Yeah, he calls it a slider. It's kind of in between a slider and a curveball. It's looking pretty sharp right now.
Ball and a strike on Cruz. Right-handed hitting center fielder. Take that back. An 0-2 count, and he hangs alive. You ever land in a plane, you look out the window, and you see those guys on the tarmac with the orange cones and the orange knee pads and shoes, and they're guiding the plane up to the gate?
Yeah.
That's what Trey Cruz looks like right now. Orange gloves, orange shoes, orange sleeves. 0-2. Fouled off. Like you ought to be guiding in 747 to their appropriate gate. 0-2 on Cruz. 1-0 Braves in the top of the 8th. Matzik brings it. Cruz sends one foul on the third base line.
I'll tell you what, I'd take that job all day over. Two of my uncles lived in Chicago. Both worked for United Airlines. One was more of an office guy. The other one ran the truck that came out to clean out the plane bathrooms when they would land. So you imagine him out there in January, February, just hooking up the hose to the bottom of the bird and, cleaning it out and going to the next one. I'd much rather be dressed in orange.
That's dirty work, brother.
That is.
That is dirty work. Here's the 0-2 to Cruz. That's fouled off. So he's at O'Hare?
Yeah, they both worked at O'Hare. He's in his mid-70s now. He's laying on the couch drinking Budweiser now.
He's retired from the dirty hose work.
Uh-huh. I think they called him the honeysuckers or something like that. Try to put a positive spin on it.
That's quite the attempt. 0-2 popped up into foul territory. Possibly playable. Phillip Evans is over there, and it blows by him. He went too hard to his left, and the wind pushed that back behind him. And amidst the sunlight and the little breeze, that kind of swirled around, and he couldn't find it. Still 0-2 on Trey Cruz. What's the worst job you ever had? I mean, playing baseball these years, you don't have too many bad ones, I'm guessing.
I think the worst one, I sold sporting goods at Played Again Sports and during the summer in college. I'd have to go to somebody's trailer and set up a Bowflex they were never going to use. Come back in 6 months, take it back to the shop.
0-2, check swing. Did he go? You bet. Good stuff by Matzik. Striking out Trey Cruz. The 2 down here in the 8th inning. Yeah, those secondhand sports stores probably go through a lot of Bowflexes and stationary bikes.
They do. And those Bowflexes that we were selling inevitably turned into like clothes hangers. They would just drape clothes over them and look at it and hope they got fit just being in the same room as it.
Keston Hira takes one low and outside. Because you'd see their commercials and you'd see the jack dudes on the Bowflex.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that's all that they're doing.
No. Another one that, some days was bad, but I enjoyed the whole thing just to get the experience as I was a bouncer at a college bar after my first minor league season.
Get to rough some people up. Here's a 1-0 pitch. That's low. I mean, being a bouncer at a bar, that's tough work, but especially in a college town.
Yeah.
That's busy work.
It's also hot because I'd have to wear 3 or 4 T-shirts to look the appropriate size, to look at least a little bit intimidating.
2-0 to Hira. Fly ball to deep right. Skybolt drifting back to the track, makes the catch. And a 1-2-3-8 for Tyler Matzik. Doing a really good job. Another scoreless frame for him. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning, 1-0 Braves. 1-0 Braves, bottom of the 8th inning. Alongside Darren O'Day, Ben Ingram here with you. New pitcher for the Tigers, Sean Gunther. Out of Marist in Atlanta, went to Notre Dame. There's a called strike on Cody Milligan as he leads off for the Braves in the bottom of the 8th. So Gunther on the mound, Dingler his catcher. Ball low and in. And a 1-1 count on Milligan.
You turning me into like a grade school kid laughing in class, man.
Lefty Sean Gunther, 5'11", 195. Ground ball over the mound, charging it short, Leonard. He scoops and fires, 1 down. So Milligan retired, back to the top of the order. The Jordan Luplow looking ahead to the 9th inning. Tigers will have the middle 3 due up. As that will be Bigby, Young, and Dingler. Braves will carry at least a 1-run lead into the 9th inning. Here's Jordan Luplow. He homered earlier in the week. Or I should say towards the end of last week. Pitch on the way to Luplow. Without a miss high. He homered in the ball game in Dunedin. Was that Saturday?
Yeah, Chris Bassett. Big boy. Knew it was gone right off the bat.
Called strike on the outside corner. Yeah, that was a majestic shot. Wouldn't mind seeing him blast one onto the berm right here. Facing the lefty Gunther. Here it is to Luplow. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. As we mentioned, Braves have the off day today, or rather tomorrow, I should say. Play this ball game today, off day tomorrow. 2-1 just misses. And then back at it Thursday, we head down to Fort Myers to see the Red Sox. And then home Friday and Saturday against the Pirates on Friday and the Orioles on Saturday. 3-1 in for a called strike.
They call that park Fenway South. I haven't had a chance to be there. Does it look like Fenway?
Exactly like it.
That's pretty
Dimensions
cool.
wise.
Yeah.
And field wise. With the wall, the dimensions. Here's the 3-2 pitch. That'll miss a little bit high. Luplow's aboard. So the outfield wall is identical. I think their green monster, the one in Boston's 37 feet. I think the one here might be an even 40.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as wall heights and dimensions, everything else is identical.
Yeah.
With a triangle in center and the low wall and right and all that.
I think I'm on the Boston trip this year. We'll get to talk all about the monster.
Oh, I can't wait to hear your monster stories. Andrew Velazquez takes called strike.
My favorite thing about that park is not the history or the way the ballpark looks, but the atmosphere.
Yeah.
You could go there on a day game on a Thursday, and they play those 11 a.m. games, and it is just buzzing, man.
Well, one to Velazquez. That'll miss outside. Did you ever get to play in the Patriots Day game there?
Patriots Day?
Yeah.
Yes.
With the early game?
Yeah.
Same day as the marathon?
It's awful as a visitor.
Ball to strike on Velazquez. He'll take a ball inside.
I say that because the traffic patterns are so restricted and the game is so early that a lot of the Red Sox players would resort to sleeping in the clubhouse. I know Mike Napoli slept there a couple years just because it's impossible to get there in the morning, so you have to get up at 6 a.m. to make it on time.
2-1 pitch on the way. That swung on and missed. Kind of have to go back to your spring training regimen, don't you?
Yeah.
Everything down here starts early. 1-0 Braves, bottom of the 8th. Runner at first, 1 out, and a 2-2 count on Andrew Velazquez.
And we played in it one year, and we're having dinner after the game, and you're rubbing the sleep out of your eyes. And the guy that won the marathon rolls into the restaurant we were at.
Really? 2-2 fouled off.
I don't remember his name, but I'm positive he was Kenyan.
Yeah, those guys, that's what they do.
Yeah. It was pretty cool because as soon as, everybody there knew that the marathon happened that day. And so as soon as he walked through the door, the place just went crazy, and everybody cheered for him, and he probably had his first good meal in a couple months.
2-2 to Velazquez, and he swings and misses. I think he got a piece of the catcher Dingler, but it's strike 3. And 2 down here in the 8th. So it's up to Luke Waddell. 1-0 Braves here in the 8th. All right, so looking at the schedule, this is your last day for this current trip. I know you've got 3 games left in spring training. There's a called strike. You know those dates? What date are you back down here?
You want me to call my wife and ask her?
She keeps track of all that stuff. 16th, 17th, and 18th is what it looks like.
Old Sneezy McGee got in our ear and just told us 16, 17, 18.
Sneezewick is on top of it back there. Yeah, that'll be 2 home games when you come back. Pirates, Red Sox, and then in Port Charlotte against the Rays. And then we'll see you during the regular season. 1-1. It's the inside corner.
I'm genuinely excited about this season. Not just doing this, but I think this is. Some people might disagree. I think this is the best Braves roster the team has assembled in my memory.
Yeah, it's got us all very excited for the upcoming season. Pitch low and outside to Luke Waddell. And once they say play ball on opening day, let the guys do their thing, and you just pray for health.
Mm-hmm.
Bluffing at first base now, Luplow. They throw over, and he somehow gets back. I think he was so far off that even Gunther himself was shocked. He tried to time him, and his timing was all off, and that's a pretty low place to be, especially with a lefty on the mound. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Waddell. Pitch to the plate, ground ball slapped to third. Buddy Kennedy smothers from a knee, throws down to second. It's bobbled and dropped by Leonard. And everybody's safe, and Leonard just can't believe it. Hands on his hips, looking aimlessly off into left field in frustration. That'll be an E6 most likely. I thought the throw was good enough to be caught by Leonard.
Yeah, he just flat out clanked that one, Ben. I think there was some miscommunication on who was going to take that throw at second base from the third baseman, and so you end up with 2 middle infielders standing right next to each other. Might have distracted Sugar Ray Leonard.
Not so sweet right there. That's an E6. So first and second, here's Phillip Evans. Evans swings and misses. It was Phillip Evans whose sac fly in the 6th inning drove in the only run of the game. It's 1-0 Braves here in the bottom of the 8th. Looking for some insurance runs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Luplow at second. Waddell at first. Pitch to Evans off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. $6,585 here on a Tuesday afternoon. Been a good crowd. I'd like something else to cheer about right here. 1-1 from Gunther. Pulled foul down the third baseline.
Ben, it looks like the wind has shifted a little bit. Now it's blowing kind of more to left center than it was earlier. I think there's a big rain system out there threatening the Braves' annual spring training golf tournament tomorrow.
1-2 fouled off. Isn't that fitting? Yeah, 1 day off and it's rain in the forecast.
That's a bummer, man.
That's no good. Well, maybe it'll change. We'll get lucky.
Yeah, every other day of the spring training, those guys might welcome some rain.
Yeah. It's been perfect every day. I mean, it's been 80 degrees and sunshine every single day, which has been wonderful. 1-2. Evans guides one through the right side and a base hit. Here comes Jordan Luplow. Here's the insurance runs the Braves are looking for. The throw back in trickles through the infield. Luplow scores, and it's now 2-0 Braves on the base hit by Phillip Evans, who has both of the Braves' RBIs today.
And Jordan Luplow has both of the Braves' runs on 2 different walks. You know, Luplow's a guy that could be in the talk to be the bench guy or be on the team in some fashion, and being selective, getting on base, causing a little trouble out there, distracting the pitcher, and scoring 2 runs today.
Got the walk and then reached second on the error. So that's an unearned run. 2-0 Braves. Here's Chadwick Tromp. Looking to make it 3-0 or better. Runners at the corners. And Tromp takes a backdoor breaking ball in for a called strike. Two runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Braves. No runs, 6 hits, 3 errors for the Tigers. There's the difference in the ball game right there. 0-1 to Tromp. He smokes one to deep left. Bigby going back over his head. It is off the wall on the fly. In to score Waddell. Evans goes first to third. It's an RBI double. And Chadwick Tromp, with his loud bat, makes it 3-0 Braves here in the 8th inning.
Yeah, we talked about how the Braves have played good defense this spring training, and you just can't give away outs at this level. These hitters are too good, especially Tromp. He's seeing the ball so well. Last time he smoked a rocket right at the third baseman and didn't wait too long there. Got a second pitch and hammered it out to the base of the wall and left.
I know we don't see a lot of Chadwick, but when we have seen him, especially last year, you think about, and the year before, in the limited opportunities he would get, he was swinging and making good contact, came up with some big base hits over the last few seasons. It's fun to watch his ABs.
Yeah, he really is a good player and an important type of player to have in an organization. Like, I've already praised his defensive work. He calls a great game. When you come on the mound in a game and you see Trump back there, you're pretty dang comfortable. You don't like a big letdown from your big league catchers to your AAA catchers. And like you said, he swings the bat well. He doesn't wait around. He's not scared of the moment. Hey, I'm in the big leagues. I got to change my game. He just goes out there and does what he does, which is, attack the first pitch he likes and hit it hard.
Well, the Tigers go to the bullpen. Brian Sammons is the new pitcher. Sammons. Brian Sammons, 6'4", 235, left-hander out of Western Carolina University. Drafted originally by the Twins in 2017. And the lefty Sammons on for his second appearance of the spring. This guy was with the Twins for a while, was released by the Twins after he made it to AAA with Minnesota, and then found himself playing independent baseball last season, made 5 appearances in indie ball, and then was grabbed by the Tigers.
With all this talk of the all-name team, I thought you said like salmon, like the fish.
Oh, yeah.
And that reminded me of an experience I had last month. My wife ordered a salmon salad, and the waitress said, you want the salmon? the salmon. And my wife was like, looked at me like, is she messing with us? And said, yeah, I'll take the salmon. And so she corrected her, the proper pronunciation of salmon.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the L doing in salmon?
I don't know. I thought you were going to say it reminded you of the smell of your mustache here with Baltimore. There's Nacho Alvarez. The pitch on the way. Alvarez takes a called strike. Yeah, Brian Sammons. Makes me think of Clint Sammons, who used to be a catcher of the Braves organization.
Mm-hmm.
Good dude. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss by Nacho Alvarez. 0-2 on Nacho. 3-0 Braves. They've played at 2 runs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 0-2 from Sammons. Missed high. 1-2 on Nacho Alvarez. You're mixing food groups here with Nacho at the plate and Sammons on the mound. 1-2 to Nacho. He swings and misses again. So that ends the 8th inning. Well, the Braves come away with 2 runs, pad the lead. It was a 1-0 lead, now a 3-0 lead. And we head to the 9th with the Braves on top of the Tigers, 3-0.
Top of the ninth here at Cooler Day Park. Braves up 3-0. On to see if he can lock down the spring training save is Jackson Tater Salad Stevens. We saw him a few days ago up at Dunedin through 2/3 of an inning. 1 hit, 1 run, 2 punch outs. We'll see what he's got today after he's relieved Tyler Matzik, who was on for a clean 8th inning. He looked fantastic, breaking off some nasty curveballs. We'll see if Jax can do the same. The last time he pitched, he was a little bit underwhelmed by his own curveball and his sinker command. So, knowing him, he's going to clean that up, shut down the game for the Braves.
And that was Saturday in Dunedin, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, but what I gathered from you talking about the golf talent on this team, if it came down to head-to-head, the top 2 golfers in the clubhouse, pitch on the way to Justice Bigby. There's a strike on the outside corner. Bryce Elder versus Jackson Stevens. You feel comfortable with that?
Yep.
Okay. There's the 0-1 pitch on the way to Justice Bigby. Fouled off, 0-2.
2 completely different approaches to the game as well. Bryce Elder doesn't say much, just plays real good golf. Jackson Stevens spends 18 holes telling you how good he is.
The way it ought to be. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Missed high. All right, well, tomorrow you have to text us the result, and that way we can tell all our listeners how it went in the golf tournament yesterday. Or tomorrow, and once it is Thursday, it'll be yesterday. That'll be sent foul.
Will do.
That'll be fun to learn about. 1-2 on Justice Bigby.
The early betting line on A.J. Minter's shirt is at -300 for it to contain the colors pink or salmon.
Okay.
So it's going to be a heavy bet to make some money.
Very spring festive.
Yeah.
It's aggressive. I like it.
It is.
Ball and 2 strikes on Justice Bigby. Here it is from Jackson Stevens. Lifted towards foul ground. Into the seats down the right field line. Still 1-2 on Bigby. Braves 3, Tigers nothing. We're in the top of the 9th. After Bigby, it'll be Jace Young. Stevens deals. Sent foul again. That's down the right field line and against the screen. Still 1-2.
Jackson Stevens sporting the bright red glove like many Braves pitchers do. His is a little different. His is a Mexican glove company. You know, he's got a great story of how the Braves found him down there in the Mexican League pitching after he was dropped out of the Cincinnati Reds organization. Well, this company wanted him to wear their glove.
1-2. Big breaking ball up and in. So that's a glove manufacturer that he was introduced to pitching in the Mexican League?
Correct.
And stuck with it.
Yep.
2-2 pitch. Fouled off again. Bigby putting up a pretty good fight. Is he the only guy that you know of in the big leagues wearing that company's glove?
There might be 1 or 2 out there, but
Okay.
he's the only guy I know of.
Trying to put away the pesky Justice Bigby at the 2-2 pitch. Fouled off again. It hits the lights up above the first base line.
Yeah, I've had a chance to see a couple different Mexican brands of gloves, and they always smell like fresh leather. You know, the Japanese gloves, the American gloves don't necessarily smell that strongly. Those Mexican gloves, you know when they're in the room.
2 fouled off. It's a nice fresh leather smell.
Yeah.
Really potent.
Walk into a boot store.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they smell like.
Did you pretty much stick with the same brand your entire career, or did you mix it up a little bit?
I did. I stayed with Wilson my whole career.
2-2 to Bigby. He hits one hard out towards center field. Cody Milligan in line with it. Drifting back, makes the catch, and 1 down. It was a pretty good fight there between Jackson Stevens and Justice Bigby. And 1 out here in the 9th inning. How often would you get a brand new gamer?
So usually you would get 2 new gloves every spring training. And you can pick them out or you can customize them. You can spend an hour in the off season, you know, going on the computer and picking all the colors and the name you want on it.
Jace Young, the batter. Takes first pitch ball outside.
And a few years in, I realized I don't want a new glove every year, so I started getting first baseman mitts and catcher's mitts and outfield shagging mitts.
1-0 fouled back. So how many years did you use the exact same glove?
I think I used one glove for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And just collected gloves. I give them away to people or give them to, my dad has a couple of them.
Big swing and a miss by Young, 1-2.
My favorite, I love to, we hit batting practice every day. My favorite thing to get a little bit of extra conditioning is to go out in center field and catch all the fly balls these guys hit. So that was my favorite glove of the whole group, was my shagger.
1-2 up and in. The appeal didn't go. So you paid more attention to your shagger than your gamer.
Yeah.
2-2 from Stevens. Slowed it up, put a loop in it, missed outside. 3-2 on Jace Young, spelled J-U-N-G.
And my old catcher at the Orioles was a Matt Wieters Gold Glove winner, and they, their gloves are special. They get the gold patch and everything, and he was nice enough to get me one of those.
There's a 3-2 pitch. Low it in, ball 4.
Which was a contractual violation by me wearing that thing every day, but it was my favorite. And my favorite part about that glove is I would wear it in spring training, and you get a new guy on the team, and he'd see it, and he'd say, "Whoa, you have a gold glove?" And I'd say, "Yeah, man, I won." Usually they'd be young guys, I'd say, "Yeah, I won the relief pitcher gold glove in 2010. They only did it for 1 year, and I won it that year." So there's still a handful of guys out there believing that I actually won a gold glove.
Dingler with a ground ball to short, could be 2. Waddell to Velasquez. Velasquez to Evans. Ball game. A 6-4-3 inning-ending double play, and that ends the ball game as well. And it's a shutout victory for the Braves as they take down the Tigers by a final score of 3-0. Phillip Evans, great job at the plate. Great pitching by the Braves. Strider, Morton, Vizcaya, Matzik, and Stevens. And it's a Braves win, 3-0. Back with the totals after this.